Hello and welcome everybody to the VooPlayer Q&A weekly webinar call. We are going to get started here in just 1 minute, but before we do, if you'll be so kind as to confirm that you can both hear my voice as well as see my screen, and then we can get started. Thank you very much. Get started. So VooPlayer Q&A weekly webinar call, purpose of which is to answer any questions that you as users may have, provide any training on any advanced features or covering any video use cases in your business, as well as to showcase new stuff that we've been working on, as well as to gather feedback, ideas for improvements, constructive criticism, etc., all with the end goal of improving VooPlayer. So my name is Peter. I am VooPlayer's product manager, and these are, as I mentioned, weekly calls. And if you're not able to attend any of these, replays are available both on our YouTube channel, YouTube.com/c/VooPlayer, as well as on our Facebook group, Facebook groups VooPlayer. So if you haven't already, I do encourage you to subscribe to that channel and join that group in order to participate more actively in the community. Sometimes people share advice, and sometimes people, hey, I have a problem with this, and somebody else will chime in before support does with their solutions. So those are great resources to also stay in the loop with regards to everything new in VooPlayer. Alrighty, cool. So the format of the webinar is pretty straightforward. So at any time that you have a question, just drop it in the chat box over here. If you came prepared with any questions, now would be a good time just to drop them in the chat box, and then we can start answering the questions in the order that they come in. All right, cool. So there's new stuff, but mostly minute stuff that we've added in the last release. Most of what I would like to touch on with regards to what's happening with VooPlayer until questions start rolling in is I just want to kind of set up the stage for what's upcoming immediately. So we started working on the interactive hotspot for the video. So I don't know a better way to describe it other than a hotspot, but basically an interactive button which you can precisely map to any point on the video, and then attach actions to, like open up a content panel or open up a web page, etc., etc., etc. So that's something that we're going to see. That's more or less done in its proof of concept stage. So we have it working, and there's a lot that we can enhance upon there, but as is right now, we're definitely due to see a demo of that. We could have done one today, but definitely by the next webinar, we're going to have a somewhat functioning demo of the hotspot in its prototype stage. Still a lot that needs to be done there. So that's the first thing. A bunch of new enhancements are coming to the play button with regards to both the styling capabilities, positioning capabilities, sizing capabilities, the combination with the display of duration on the play button, etc., etc., etc. So a lot of new enhancements also are coming down the pipeline within the next release for that play button. And we also started working on the screen recording extension. Actually, I kind of have it here. So this is going to be a screen recording extension, which is going to allow you to record your screen, microphone, camera, etc., and then upload that directly back to VooPlayer. So those are all the new things that we started working on in 2019, and as we're progressing, we'll keep you updated on all of these throughout these webinar calls. Alrighty, cool. So let's see if we have some questions thus far. Dean is saying interactive hotspots, great. Yeah, that's something that's been getting a lot of attention, and I'm highly encouraging and welcoming a conversation around this. So yeah, you can position a hotspot, and we can go to the extent of making it so interactive that you can map its path and make it dynamic so it follows. So for example, if you imagine a snowboarder or a skier going down a slope, then you can have the hotspot follow that skier, and all of that can be great. But what I really want to revolve the conversation around is the actions themselves that are beneficial from a hotspot. So if anybody cares to chime in or just open up a support conversation with us around that topic, around what kind of actions would be most beneficial from a hotspot, that's something that I would really love to hear. Because as I mentioned, more or less you have two simple interactions there. One is you either have the hotspot perform an action such as open up a web page, or you have an action open up a panel with additional content. Like, for example, if somebody clicked here, it could open up a panel or overlay over the video with the e-commerce page for this jacket that this guy is wearing. So it could do something like that. So what I'm really interested in hearing is some real-world use case examples of what these hotspots would be, how they would be beneficial to your videos, and as we kind of gather that feedback again, which I'm strongly encouraging and welcoming, then we're going to be able to develop the hotspot feature more and more thanks to that. So if anybody has any examples around how these hotspots would be literally used in their videos, that's something that we would really love to hear. Hello, Shade, Stephen, really exciting news. William is saying, will the hotspots be invisible when placed over contents? Will the hotspots be invisible when placed over contents? You could make them invisible. Currently, we have them more or less very similar to this. So they are a circle which is pulsating a different color or an offset color of the main color, and you have the ability to upload a picture which would act as the more or less a background for that circle. So you would have the circle of that picture. So you could upload a picture, or you can have just a pulsating circle which you can place anywhere on the video. And if I'm not mistaken, you also have the ability to change when somebody hovers over it, what happens then, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Alan is saying, are they active on mobile? I asked because I'm using Leadbot mobile ad platform to gain subscribers. Is what active on mobile? Hotspots? Yeah, hotspots will be treated as any other overlay. So they are a part of our overlaying system and annotation system. So all of them are both functional as well as scalable down to mobile devices. So hopefully that answers that question now. And I don't know if I answered what you were asking. If not, just ask for a clarification. Tom is saying, am I able to upload a file and personalized videos based on that to produce personalized URLs? I can email through another ESP. Tom, let's get. I just want to wrap up the hotspot conversation, just so we're not jumping back and forth. I'll come back to that. Are hotspot options or a checkbox for various actions conceivable? Are hotspots options or a checkbox for various actions conceivable? I'm not sure I understand your question, Stephen. If you can elaborate a little bit on that, that would be great. So back to Tom. Tom is asking, am I able to upload a file and personalize videos based on that to produce personal URLs that I can email through another email service provider? So you can upload a video and you can personalize it based on that to produce personal URLs. I can email through another ESP. I'm not sure what's the first ESP there. The part that's confusing me is another ESP. So where's the first one coming into play? So can a viewer enter data while watching a video and have that integrated in the video? Oh, I gotcha. All right. So Tom, that's a great question. So I see what the question was. So can a viewer so the way that it currently works is that, so let's pull this up, test personalization demo. Quite neat for this example. So if somebody started watching this video, and let's say currently doesn't have, but let's say that this video has some personalized content in second 2 or whatever with that person's name, the way that it would behave currently is that if this person is not a contact thus far and they haven't come to a personalized video without the appropriate URL, and they were just seeing this video and filling out this lead capture form for the first time, so for example like this, then the content that follows would not be personalized for them. And I don't necessarily think it makes much sense to personalize it for them at that point, unless, well, maybe unless you've also captured their name, because that's probably the only thing that you can show up. So no, that's not how we have this working currently. It's an interesting suggestion. However, if somebody fills that for the first time, I can't see it again because I unlocked it, but if somebody sees that for the first time and they fill out their email and click on enter, even if the URL is not personalized, they will, if the personalization feature is active, that will feed back to the CRM. So the CRM will get that contact data that you have seen, and also you'll get the viewing data of what's the percentage of the video that they've watched, etc. So you'll get all of that good stuff in the CRM. However, the personalization of the content itself is basically only triggered when the URL has that personalized query string available inside of it. So that's kind of the only thing that kind of triggers that currently. But I do see sort of a benefit of if somebody started watching the video and the video said, all right, stop, give me your name and your email, and then I say, all right, and then a second after that, whatever, an annotation comes from the right-hand side saying, thank you very much for watching, Peter. Here's your personalized link. And then that link could be mysite.com/landing page with the query string, email equals whatever, that you can do something on that. So that's something that could be pretty cool. And I'll have to think some more about that, because there's some implications between sharing that content between the lead capture system and the overlaying system. But it's an interesting idea. I'll note that as for feedback and future considerations, something that we haven't necessarily considered thus far, but it's certainly a very interesting idea. So let me just note that. Give me a second just so I don't forget. Alrighty. Can a viewer, just so I have that. And there was a first part of that as well was, am I able to personalize the videos based on that to produce personalized URLs I can email through another ESP? I think we got that, but just let me associate that as well. All right, cool. So Stephen is providing a clarification. In other words, choose a pop-up or sales page link or slide out. Choose a pop-up or sales page link that, or slide out or whatever, for hotspots attached to each video. Yeah, so that's basically how hotspots are envisioned to work. So whenever we're probably going to have different templates for different hotspots. So you have a hotspot that comes up and you click on it, and then a pop-up or a link or a slide out or whatever happens. Yeah, so that's how they would work. Tom is planning further. Can I upload an Excel file and have that data appear in individual videos that have unique URLs? Ooh, I got you now. Can I upload an Excel file and have that data appear? So basically, you want to use a stored data file as a source for personalized videos. Oh, there's currently definitely not a mechanism that enables you to do something like that. but it is interesting on how you envision that working. If you have an example of that file, just send it over at support@woolplayer.com and just mention me in the conversation so we can get assigned to me, and then we can scale it from there. But that's definitely something that's not currently available for sort of having local storage act as a component of CRM integration, because there's a lot of moving parts there with sending data, receiving data, and storing that data. And sort of doing that locally is not something that we can envision necessarily being available anytime soon. But let's get a conversation going around that. I would really love to understand why that's beneficial to you, Tom, so that we can help you define the best solution possible. So just email us at support@woolplayer.com, and just if you have an example of that file with that contact data that you would like to import, maybe just one or two contacts, just so we can kind of talk about the format. That would be extremely helpful. Dean is saying for hotspots, probably for the use case examples, I can see, will we be able to have it go to another video that is hosted with you? Sort of like a funnel. Oh, Dean, we haven't given that any thought. Interesting idea. So we'll be able to have it go to another video that is hosted with you. Give me an example of that. Why would that be beneficial? So sort of, I guess, if you are running a commerce store and then in some sort of a section website, like let's say somebody goes to deansshoes.com and goes to tennis shoes, and then in tennis shoes you have 10 tennis shoes in the welcome video on that page, and then each shoe could link to another video. Yeah, I can see that working, but that's really then we're separating out funnels. The reason, instead of using funnels for videos, yes. So then we have two things accomplishing the same thing, and I just see it being somewhat confusing. But let me note that as well as an example of what the hotspots could be utilized. So that's definitely an interesting idea. It's easy to do that. That's definitely not something that's difficult to accomplish. I'm just afraid of it causing more confusion than benefit in comparison to funnels. Ben is asking, are templated funnels planned for the future? +1 on what Ben asked. Yes. So as I mentioned, well, I didn't mention this because we haven't started already working on it. So there is a whole rework of funnels planned, both with regards to the usability of the interactions in building a funnel, which are currently more convoluted and confusing than anybody would appreciate them to be. But definitely there's I wouldn't even say there's room for improvement. We're just basically going to rework them from the ground up with everything that we've learned in the past couple of years. But basically we want to build up a whole new interface for interacting and connecting actions and answers and questions in a much more intuitive way. And as well as a part of that effort, we are also going to be redesigning the answers and questions themselves as far as what the templates go. So that's the as far as what the UI templates go. So that might be answering your questions, but I'm curious more. When you say our templated funnels planned, are you referring to the UI templates or sort of as for the structured templates, Ben? For example, one template would be, here's a video that goes to 3 other videos, one of which goes to another video, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or a template is just as UI template. Some clarification on that would be appreciated. Dean is providing an example. Can the video be, instead of using a funnel for videos? Yeah, all right. William is saying, can the video being watched itself be downloaded as a product on an e-commerce site? Downloaded as a product. You can just make a video downloadable if I'm getting you right. So on any video, so for example, on this video, I can come over here to controls, I believe, and I can just enable video download, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to give you this little icon. So when somebody's watching that, you can simply click on that. They can simply click on that icon and download it. Or if you want to provide a somewhat more meaningful experience, you can always just grab that URL that they can see, and then you can use that URL, for example, in a overlay, like click here, you can download the video, or you can use it on your page on an e-commerce site, like download that video. You can just I can't access this directly, but let me just see if I can copy the URL here. I can't. I can provide for the structure of these URLs. These are pretty straightforward URLs, but you can just download these videos then directly. I don't know if that answers your question, William, but if I understood it correctly, you can just have the download feature available here, or you can use that link, which we need to make a little bit more transparent with regards to how for you to copy it and maybe use it in an overlay, or maybe in the sidebar of your e-commerce site. You can just say, click here to download. So no issues for that. That link becomes accessible after you've enabled video download. So good to note is that if you uploaded a video and you wanted to keep it secure, the second when you enable this video download, the source of the video will remain secure. However, this will provide a method for somebody to download the MP4 directly. Let me know if that requires any further clarification. William Ben is saying UI and structured as well. All right, that makes sense. Let me just make note of that as well. Plain funnels for the future, structures, UI and structured. We haven't given much thought to sort of templating structures. It will be interesting to learn what kind of templates would be available in those, let's call it in that template library. So if you have any ideas around what structures would be beneficial, nothing immediately comes to my mind, but if you do, just submit it all as feedback. It's not a bad idea. We'll just come over here to the ideas board, which is also available from the application. You can just come over here and click on, not there, you can click on submit and vote on ideas, and then just submit a new idea from there, or submit it directly to providing visual build out of funnels, or you can just submit a brand new idea. It would be great to have a template for a structured funnel that Google does so and so and so and so. So all of that is collected and categorized and sorted in the feedback for when we work on funnels. So the more examples we have of real world cases for funnel structures, for hotspot use cases, etc., that really helps us come up with the most relevant solution possible. So that feedback is, as always, strongly encouraged. Stephen is saying, are you familiar with an app called Interactor? It creates video funnels wherein video survey leads to different subsequent videos to segment viewers. That comes with different templates. I'm still a little confused about what you mean by video funnel templates. I don't know if Interactor, I think I've seen it maybe once or twice, and I'm not that extensively familiar with it. But if I'm not mistaken, it is doing the same thing that the funnels are. It allows you. It looks like we have a funnel created, which is great. It allows you to, based on one video, you can ask questions within that video, and you can say, hey, if somebody answers answer C, where would you like to travel this summer? If somebody answers to C, then it goes to a new video, which is an aerial shot of seascape, and this goes to a new video. And then when it goes to this video, if they go to this, then it asks them, discovering the underwater world is truly an incredible experience, and blah, 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 blah. And if somebody answers that, yes, that goes to a new video. If somebody answers no, that takes them to a different URL. So it gives you the ability to sort of structure the questions and answers that help you later on understand what the audiences are doing and how you can segment them and follow them, what they were doing. And this is then all associated back to their data in their viewer profile. So it's pretty similar to what Interactor does. It's as I mentioned, there's just there's funnels need to be redone from scratch. Let's just put it that way. All right. William is saying downloads could also be limited to a certain amount. Correct. Downloads cannot be limited to a certain amount. Once they are enabled for everybody. So if you want to disable them at any time, you need to disable them for everybody by going back and switching off that toggle. Stephen is saying yes, exactly. On a difference seems to be drag and drop UI. I love that feature. Thanks. Yeah, that's something that we think will definitely help a lot of people get the most out of that. All righty, we're running short on time, so maybe time for one more question if you have one. If not, I just want to thank everybody for joining this week and taking the time to ask all these great questions. Do join us next week. I strongly anticipate that we'll see the first demo of hotspots in action and what they are looking like and what they're capable of performing. Continue submitting feedback to that ideas portal via submit the idea. That's really what's driving and prioritizing all of this, so that always helps. Once more, thank you, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye.